For the Guidewire project, I laid down an aggressive goal. This is we're going to be done in a year. We are reinventing an organization that's been around for 75 years in the last few months.
We have been able to take a product implementation that was costing us several $100,000 per state down to tens of thousands.
Hazard Hub has helped us efficiently grow through speed, price, and process. We cut quote time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes.
Après le lancement de nos projets de transformation, la satisfaction des clients a monté de 20%.
We can grow dramatically over the coming years, and that's what we're already seeing.
Please welcome Guidewire's Chief Executive Officer, Mike Rosenbaum.
Hello, everybody. Let me just say how great it is to be able to say welcome to Connections. It's phenomenal. Everybody's been making fun of me for the past week. How many times I say that? You can keep track. It's phenomenal to be able to be back at full strength. How many people were here last year? If you remember, we had the seats all spread apart, right? Now we're back at full strength. We've set a record in terms of the number of customers here this week, the number of partners here this week, the number of people watching online. It's phenomenal. We actually have the exact number of seats in this room as people who have registered for Connections. So we're keeping track of all the empty seats. And Brian Desmond, our CMO, will be reaching out to you if you've registered and you're not in this room right now. It's good. I got you to laugh. Okay, good. All right. Let me start the presentation by saying thank you. Thank you, of course, for coming. But also, I want to say, on behalf of everybody at Guidewire, thank you for the opportunity to serve this industry. We take it very seriously, what we do. We believe that what you all do in service to the property casualty insurance industry, in service to the world, in service to all of our houses and our cars and our companies, this is an amazing thing that you do. And it's something that we take a lot of pride in participating in. And for that, we want to express our gratitude and say thank you very much. So our mission at Guidewire has not changed. We strive every day to build and deliver a platform that you all trust, to enable you to engage with your customers more effectively, to innovate with new products and new distribution channels, and grow your organization more and more efficiently every single day, every single month, every period, every year. Right? This is what we do. This mission hasn't changed in 20 years, and I don't expect that it will change for the next 20. We are completely dedicated to this goal. And together, we have accomplished quite a lot. The statistics up here on this incredible screen are pretty amazing. 500 plus customers, over 1,000 implementations of Guidewire in our history, across 38 countries, 170, almost 200 applications in our marketplace. Maybe we'll break that threshold by next year. Almost 20,000 consultants in our ecosystem of SI partners, and now 3,200 employees. But probably the statistic that is most impressive is that in one way or another, 20% of the world's direct written premium runs on Guidewire. It's something yeah. That was not a plant. I really appreciate that. Whoop. Okay. Good job. Thank you very much. Okay. So, what's this look like? This is my favorite slide. Actually, the whole room lights up. It's such an impressive slide. I know you can't tell, but this is a picture of every single Guidewire customer. We didn't ask anybody's permission. We just did it. So take the picture, find your logo up there. This is just incredible. Every single Guidewire customer. And we were thinking about this. We've done this for the past couple years. We were thinking that this is not enough, okay? This doesn't tell the full story. there's a bigger part to this story. It's more than just Guidewire and our customers. It's also about all of our partners, okay? So we've added every single partner to this picture. We want to say thank you very much. A big part of the reason we can get together here this week is your participation in this event. But it's your participation in this ecosystem and community that I believe really makes the difference and really sets us apart. And I believe that it's a very significant part of our strategy and something we're going to talk a lot about today. So thank you very much. So I want to start the presentation by sort of getting oriented around our ambitions in this keynote, our ambitions this week. So first of all, I want to align on the problem that everyone at Guidewire is determined to solve. We're going to talk a little bit about what that problem is. Then we're going to share our vision, and this is most of the week, right? We're going to share our vision for how we are working on solving that, right? This has a lot to do with technology. We're a technology company. We're going to talk about cloud. This is really important. This is a big, significant part of the week. What have we been up to? And then last, and maybe possibly most important, is we want to motivate you. We want to enable you. We want to give you all the energy, all the tools necessary for you to go back and say, how can I take maximum leverage from the investment that we have made and are making in Guidewire? So hopefully we do all these three things. This will be a successful week. All right, so let's talk about the problem that we are determined to solve. So I think property casualty insurance companies, I think specifically IT executives at property casualty insurance companies are faced with a very, very difficult balancing act. On the one hand, you have to maintain these incredibly reliable, incredibly important core systems. And sometimes they've existed for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, or in some cases, I think unfortunately, I won't ask you to raise your hand, but 40 years, right? And these things work. We like to say, Priscilla on our management team, our COO, likes to say that these are the heart and the lungs of an insurance company. Without them, you do not exist. You cannot do business. They are the definition of critical system. And at the same time, you are asked to continually innovate, continually change, continually try new things. Balancing these two things is incredibly difficult. Whether or not you are trying to deal with and manage the constantly changing nature of cyber risk, or whether or not you are working on figuring out what are we going to do to maintain our products and maintain profitability in light of the increasing severity of these severe weather events, like this hurricane that we just had in Florida, which may turn out to be the most significant, the most costly in the history of the P&C industry. Or whether or not you're trying to experiment with new distribution models and new channels to market, new ways to distribute your products more effectively. Or whether or not you are trying to meet the ever-increasing demands that customers and agents have for the quality of the user experiences that we all create and the way that you expose your company to your customers and to your agents. Or whether or not you're trying to take maximum advantage of data and analytics and capturing every single transaction that's occurring in your enterprise and applying that cutting-edge machine learning, artificial intelligence to the challenges associated with running your company more efficiently. And last but not least, the new addition to the slide, which certainly wasn't here a year ago, let's all deal with a once-in-a-generation change to the baseline assumptions around inflation. Every executive I talk to is now thinking about this. They're seeing the increase in claims expense. They're seeing the inflation happen before their eyes, and they're working through the systems that they manage in order to capture that information and adjust the prices and adjust the rates and get the regulations approved, get the regulators to approve the adjustments so that the system can be rebalanced. This is a challenging thing to do. Solving this problem requires an agile platform that is built to support a complete insurance lifecycle. This is what we are going to talk about all during this week, is our vision for creating something that solves this problem holistically, that brings the perspective of 20 years experience doing this across 1,000 implementations and doing it in a modern way that enables all of you to balance these, at first glance, conflicting priorities and conflicting goals. And creating that agility enables you to have the right product at the right channel, at the right rate, the right price, and with the right claims experience each and every single time a claim occurs. This is the vision behind Guidewire's product strategy. And we believe, I believe, we are uniquely positioned and uniquely capable to do this in the world. We have more people and more focus specifically on creating this complete insurance lifecycle, and we have taken all of this, packaged it into our Guidewire cloud set of products and capabilities. And we uniquely combine the platform necessary, the applications necessary, and the global property casualty insurance content necessary to uniquely solve this balance, to uniquely solve this problem, to enable you to engage with your customers more effectively, innovate with new products, and grow your organizations efficiently. And we do this across every single property casualty line of business, across every region and every country in the world where modern P&C insurance is practiced. And our momentum across this new delivery mode, this new approach to delivering all of this technology to you has been phenomenal, right? Our cloud transformation continues to gain momentum, and we continue to be more and more confident that we will successfully transition this entire industry to cloud and to a better approach for solving this conflict. So, in the 6th releases, we're now here to talk a lot about this. Our 6th releases, we have every 6 months now demonstrated an ability to make the system better, whether it was establishing it in the first place with our, as we call, GWCP cloud platform, or adding a data platform, or adding an integration framework, or adding a new approach to packaging products with Guidewire Go. And now in Flaine, this is what we're going to talk about, all the new things that are going to come in the latest release. But this is probably not the most important thing. I think the most important thing is that we are seeing accelerating adoption in our customer base. And these numbers bear this out. You can see this. This is a nice, healthy, fun, stressful curve for all of us as we see more and more customers adopting Guidewire Cloud. But I also want to say that this is probably not the most important thing. I think the most important thing is actually the production go-lives. Now, this is the maddening thing. If you're me, it's kind of stressful and drives me crazy. These projects are complex. They take a long time. So there's a lag between the decision to do it and the production go-live. Sometimes it's 6 months, maybe in a really, really fast project. Sometimes it's 12, 18. This takes a long time. But as you can see, this curve, the production go-live curve, is starting to trend up and to the right, just like the number of customers choosing to go to cloud. And I want to say a couple things about this. One of the things we've done at our organization is completely pivot the focus to learning every single thing we possibly can from these production go-lives. How do we make them smoother? How do we make them faster? How do we make these upgrades better and easier? How do we ensure that they go effectively? The whole organization is oriented around learning everything that we can so that the path that we are paving for all of you that will come next will be smoother and faster than those than the folks that have gone previously. And I also want to say thank you. I think it took a bit of risk. It took a bit of trust for the customers that have embarked on this journey with us so far. And I want to say that we deeply appreciate that decision. We deeply appreciate the partnership. And we are completely committed to ensuring that 100% of the Guidewire customers are successful as they move and they transition to this cloud approach to operating this system. Now, the nice thing about having production customers is we are starting now to see the tangible business results associated with those production go-lives. And I want to talk to you about 2 examples. One's at Definity and one's at Mountain West Farm Bureau. So at Definity, this was a very complex on-prem upgrade to Guidewire Cloud. Super complicated project, executed successfully, and they're already in just a short amount of time seeing the improvement, seeing the velocity improve, seeing the change, the positive change that it is having on their business. I also want to talk about Mountain West Farm Bureau, another Guidewire customer who moved to the cloud. And in addition to the sort of structural, tactical, numbers-oriented details that sort of back up and make it positive, the impact that they have, I think the really interesting about Mountain West is how they have fundamentally changed the approach in their organization from being manual to being automatic. The first policy bound on Guidewire Cloud was done completely automatically. Nobody touched it, just happened overnight. Now there's a new policy in the system. It's phenomenal. I said it again. My team's winning a lot of dollars. The other side of it is that they have changed the way that they work with their business organization. The IT organization and the business organization are working together more fluidly and with more agility such that they're taking maximum advantage of the changes and the approach that we can take to cloud. I also want to make a pitch, a call out to all of you. I also want to say thank you to 3 specific customers who are going to share their stories with you this week. Aoi Nisei Doha Insurance, the CEO, Simone Labadie, is going to speak to you about their experience with Guidewire Cloud. Mary Beth Eckert, the SVP and CIO at USA, is going to speak to you about their cloud experience with Guidewire. And finally, Lars Bondi, the COO at Trig, is going to share their experience with Guidewire Cloud. I want to thank these customers for sharing these stories, and I want to encourage each and every one of you to think about 1, maybe 2, maybe all 3, because it's the advice that they are going to give you about what they've learned that I think will really help all of you think about how to take more advantage from the investment that you've made in Guidewire. All right. I now want to pivot to something that everybody is going to be very, very excited about talking through, and that is our API strategy. So you might be thinking, why are we talking about APIs right now? What is the significance of this slide? We have made a very significant investment in the cloud APIs that back InsuranceSuite. Couple conversations I've had in the year have basically gone like this. They've said, Mike, Guidewire software basically works. Software just works, right? It does what it's supposed to do. We can use it successfully. Great job. The challenge with these implementations is all about the integration. It's the downstream, it's the upstream integration points that really trip us up, that really add complexity to the projects. So if there's anything that you can do to help with this, this would be my advice to you, Mike. Well, this is why we have made such a significant investment in the API surface area associated with Guidewire Cloud. We've added an integration framework so that we believe there is a better way to integrate InsuranceSuite applications with those upstream and downstream applications. And we can significantly reduce the complexity, the cost, the risk associated with these implementations if we approach the implementation and the integration to Guidewire in this way. And the tangible way to see this is to say we didn't build the integration at all. Instead, what we did is we went to a partner that we found on our marketplace, and we just plugged that integration into Guidewire. This is why we are making such a big investment in APIs. This is why we're making a big investment in the partner ecosystem. It's because packaged approaches like this to these implementations will de-risk them, will make them cost less, will make you more successful. It's why I am very excited to spend a few minutes now talking about 4 strategic relationships that we have established and we are excited to announce this week. This is how important we believe that this part of our strategy is in terms of delivering that success to all of you. So I want to start by talking about Appian. Appian is a leading workflow automation company with a point-and-click approach to enabling you to create these sort of workflow-driven applications that span different insurance applications and different enterprise applications that you all have running in your organization. And by partnering with Appian, by integrating the two systems, we can make it possible for you to easily use this tool to build experiences that your internal, external users, customers can gain better leverage, can operate more efficiently, and we just think this is a phenomenal addition to the approach that we're taking to allowing you to extract more value from your Guidewire cloud implementations. Next, I want to talk about Bindable. So I don't know if you've all heard of Bindable. It's a pretty interesting company. What Bindable does is it says we're going to create a network of pre-packaged embeddable insurance structures. So if a company wants to embed their insurance product into another company's flow, we're going to make that super easy for them, right? So we said, wait a minute, that's a great idea. What if any product built using APD, Advanced Product Designer, could just be plugged directly into the Bindable network, making it possible for you, if you're using APD, if you're using Guidewire Cloud, to more easily leverage this great InsurTech idea that you can take insurance products and plug them directly into these external networks, making it easier and faster for you to grow your organizations more efficiently. Really, really excited about this, especially as it relates to this idea that we can help you grow faster with Guidewire Cloud. Next is a partnership that I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to announce a few weeks ago in London. So a lot of you, I know, are already Ernix customers. Right? A lot of you are Guidewire customers too. And we were talking with the team at Ernix and we said, hey, given this situation that we have a lot of joint customers, wouldn't it be great if our organizations could work together to ensure that if you are using Ernix to get this sort of best-in-class pricing capability, to get this sort of best-in-class pricing and rating and personalization of insurance capability, wouldn't it be great if our organizations partnered to ensure that those two platforms worked effectively together? That's exactly what we did. And we are building with Ernix an APD-based integration such that in real time, changes that you make to APD are reflected in Ernix, and the people using Ernix can know that the system is organized exactly the way it should be. And you're going to be able to get not only more value out of Guidewire, not only more value out of Ernix, but more value out of the two things working seamlessly together. So last but not least, in my sort of list of great partner relationships that we have established, this one is I am personally very excited about. So we talk all the time about customer experience and improving customer experience. And when we do it, we typically talk about quote flows, talk about quoting. We also talk about first notice of loss. But we rarely talk about the most frequent interaction that all of us have with our customers, and that is billing, right? That's the digital experience that your customers really care about. That's where the interaction really occurs. And as far as I can tell, the interaction that's really positive is when you can efficiently and effectively make a claims payment digitally directly to that person who needs it exactly when they do. Okay? And this is exactly what we have done with this strategic partnership, is we've made it possible for your implementation of Guidewire, your implementation of OneInc to just work seamlessly together. That this can just be installed and just immediately you can get more value, you can improve your customer experience, you can improve your customer sat, and you can distinguish yourself relative to all the other insurance companies that you're out there competing with. We're incredibly excited about this relationship, about this strategic partnership, and I want to show you a video of a couple of our customers who are already taking advantage of it. Let's go ahead and play the video.
We are always looking for Guidewire to be our research team to kind of lead us in the direction that insurance is going. When Guidewire approached us about their partnership with OneInc, we were really excited. It was very important to us to create a secure and seamless payment experience for our policyholders.
After the hurricane hit last month, there was a lot of demand for digital claims payments. With the One partnership where Guidewire will be responsible for building and maintaining, that helps us tremendously. Customers see the biggest benefit. You see the immediate satisfaction come through when we are able to create those digital payments for claims.
So we're incredibly excited about this. One of the things I also want you to take away is that we are going to continue operating Guidewire in an open way, adding partnerships, adding partner applications to the ecosystem such that you're able to extend and customize, if we can say, configure, implement Guidewire in exactly the way that you're going to be able to use to differentiate your business. This is a great example. Okay, now I want to talk about product. Too many minutes into the presentation. Like I told you before, we're super excited about the momentum that we've been able to establish with our cloud product releases. But there's two things that I want to make sure are very clear. Number one is that we see with 100% certainty a future in which every single one of our customers is operating on Guidewire Cloud. We made a commitment to do this a few years ago to get started, and we're on this journey, but I think it is now very clear that this affords us a mechanism to deliver so much more value to our customers that we truly believe we will get to the point where 100% of you are running on Guidewire Cloud. Now, I also need to point out that we are increasingly nervous about what I would say is how people are using Guidewire on-prem, okay? It is increasingly untenable for us to continue to innovate and invest in the on-prem instances of Guidewire. It's just because the cloud is such a more efficient mechanism for us to deliver value to our customers. It's the future, it's where we're going, and so each of those choices ends up landing us in a decision to put that product in the cloud. The other side of this, which is probably more important and maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but I believe needs to be said, is that your investment in your on-prem implementations of Guidewire, I would say, is now slightly illogical. And I want to explain what I mean by this. It's that each and everything you're doing with your on-prem implementation of Guidewire is just slightly wrong. It's not going to work. It's going to work. We're going to support you. We're going to make sure that you're successful. But when you create or change a product, it's done in a slightly different way. When you create or change an integration, it's done in a slightly different way. When you create a customer experience, it's done in a different way. And so all of that investment should be calculated against how could you be doing it if you were doing it more efficiently on the cloud. And I think it's an appropriate way to think about this choice. I want to make it crystal clear. We're going to support this customer base, and we are completely committed to doing that, but it's also appropriate for me to call this out and say that there is a better way to do everything that you are doing with Guidewire in the cloud. Okay, so let's talk about Flaine. Extra credit if you learn how to pronounce this correctly. Flaine. It is not as my American alter ego pronounces it, Flaine. Flaine. You should test me whether I do this better than Diego. So, 3 things I want to talk about. And I'm totally serious when I say this. I think that this might be the most significant cloud release to date. And it's very important that every single person in the room focuses in on this first idea that we're going to talk to you about. Okay? We are determined that we will get to a place not only where every single one of our customers is running on cloud, but that every single one of our cloud customers is running on the latest release. Right? We're all familiar with this idea of N-X in terms of how many releases that people are running on. We will get to the point where we are N-0, as in there is only one release of Guidewire Cloud. And the reason I can say that I am confident saying this is because of what I'm about to talk to you about right now. We have fundamentally changed the way you upgrade Guidewire in the cloud. This is a really, really important thing to understand. When I first joined the company, I think I was 2 weeks in, that's an exaggeration. A few weeks into the company, came to Connections, gave a little speech, and I said, oh, of course, we're going to move to the cloud and we're going to upgrade you. We're going to keep everybody current on the latest release. Of course, we're going to do that. Somebody raised their hand and they said, Mike, I politely disagree with you. This is impossible. You will never do that. And I remember that conversation from Connections 3 or 4 years ago. I remember it. It motivates me. It motivates our team. We have done something very significant and very structural with the way that we build the incremental InsuranceSuite releases, such that we can say with confidence that we will get all of you to the point where you are just updating your instance of Guidewire in just a couple days. We're going to show you a super scary developer-oriented demo during Diego's presentation, which I'm really excited about. Shout out if you know what pull requests are. Yes, you're going to see one, okay? There's this guy in a suit that's going to show you a pull request. It's the first time it's ever been done in our history. But this is a really, really big deal. Okay, the next really big deal in the Flaine release is we are now going to expose, in an early access program, Utro as a customer experience digital framework for you creating any experience on the platform. This is a very significant part of the cloud strategy. And in this release, we're going to select a couple customers, a couple volunteers, and we're going to work through that early access period such that we will be better able to expose it to everyone else in a future release. Okay, we're not quite ready to expose this to everybody, but there will be a few customers on the cloud using this approach to creating digital experience, and this is a super, super big deal. This is the same framework we use to re-platform our Engage products. It's the same platform that we've been using to create user interface in Guidewire Cloud for the past couple years, and we're now able to expose it to you so that you are able to, directly on top of the InsuranceSuite applications, in an agile way, create customer experience, web experiences, quickly, easily, and most importantly, you're going to be able to do it in a way that won't break when we update you. Critical. Okay, last idea from me. We're going to launch a new predictive model. Who's excited about that? Probably nobody. The insurance industry has tons of predictive models, right? Guidewire has a product called Predict. It's out there, people use it, it's a great product. Don't misunderstand me. But the reason that I wanted to show you this slide is because this is a very strategic thing that we have done with a very particular predictive model. So Guidewire for a long time has something we call the Guidewire Data Collaborative. Customers use a product on top of that data collaborative called Compare. Before people get scared, this is completely opt-in. Okay? People opt in to sharing their anonymized information, and they can then run comparative statistics against how their operation works relative to a basket of companies to compare themselves to. What we're doing here now in this release for the first time is that we are using that data set to predict something. We're using that data set to say, can we create a machine learning-based prediction that we can then use Analytics Manager to push that prediction back into your operational system. And then, the more people use Guidewire Cloud, the more data it creates, the more customers that opt into this program, the more data it creates, the more the model gets better, because the more data that we are sharing, the more data that we are analyzing, the more predictive that model will get. And so it's specifically this pattern that we are incredibly excited about, and I think points to an extra level of value that I believe Guidewire will be able to unlock over time for each and every one of our Guidewire Cloud customers. Okay, so that was a lot. You guys could give me your grade afterwards. I now would like to introduce to Diego Devalle, our Chief Product Development Officer. Diego and the team are now going to walk you through their vision for Flaine and where we're going with our platform, our applications, and our content. Diego?